Today I'm sitting down with Jake. He's been a friend of mine for a couple of years, and he's also a mentor to me, and I've learned a lot from him. He runs Greenlight Studios, and it's a marketing agency based here in Chiang Mai. So Jake has a lot of experience working with small teams and companies around the world, especially in niche industries like sawmilling, logistics, and manufacturing. And he also edits video content for pretty popular YouTubers, which I'm really excited to hear about today. And before moving to Thailand, Jake lived in Poland for 6 years. A lot of international experience cross-culturally, right, Jake? And now he's in Chiang Mai with his wife and 5 kids, balancing business, family life, and mentorship. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that and how he built his international business from the ground up in Chiang Mai and how we worked together on a really cool project. So, Jake, nice to see you today.
Nice to see you after we just finished our interview with you. Now we're flipping the script.
I basically just want to start with the whole idea with you as a business owner in Chiang Mai. We both live here. We know that it's like a slow life vibe here. How did you start your marketing agency from zero in Chiang Mai?
It wasn't part of the plan. I didn't come to Thailand 6 years ago, right before COVID, with that on the agenda.
Hey.
I actually had a job lined up with a company. I was going to be working from Chiang Mai. It was going to be based here in Southeast Asia. It was related to the company I had been working with in Europe for the 6 years prior to moving here. And then a few weeks before we got our family here and everything, the job offer was rescinded. We're coming anyway, and we're going to just see what happens.
So that's a pretty big life-altering thing that you did, moving here and realizing that, oh, you're not going to actually fall into this role.
It was basically like a Western salary and everything. So it was quite dramatic. Okay, nothing. I hadn't updated my LinkedIn for years because I worked in-house at a company. I didn't feel the need to do that. I had a good job and lots of upward mobility in the company.
Yeah.
So ultimately, even though that was quite let's say a shock to the system, right, and unexpected, it opened the door to me looking at what can I do. So I worked at a local nonprofit, Philanthropy Connections, for a couple years. And then by then I had enough going on. We had started a business, a marketing agency out of the US. And then we had enough going on through that. I was able to then incorporate here in Thailand and hire a local team. That was 2.5 years ago now. There's a lot of little details that go into all that, but that's the long and short of
So
it.
what inspired you to open an entirely new business over trying to scramble to find another job that
Well,
may or may not guarantee?
I did scramble to find another
Okay,
job,
okay.
right?
But do that.
Yeah, and when I came here, I was like, oh, I could teach English. I don't have a university degree. Can't teach
Which
English.
is a pretty big barrier for someone wanting to be in Thailand, because a lot of people, one of the big ways for people to come here is through teaching
Exactly.
in Thailand.
So for many people, that's a great thing if they can come and teach English and then they can explore new opportunities. I think for me, though, it was another slammed shut door that forced me to to get more creative, to take more risks than I would have normally, because I have kids and it's not like I'm just can digital nomad it and take it easy and try different things. I had to be pretty serious with what I was doing. And
Yeah. And it's not like you're on your own, like a one-man team. It's, you have 5 kids and a wife that you have to take care of and build a home for here in this new country. So at that point, what are some of the things you were trying out as you were starting your business? How were you able to pick up your first new clients?
mostly through my existing network, people who already knew me, who had worked with me before. COVID hit, and suddenly people were open to hiring remote more than they were previously. And a lot of the companies I work with in more traditional industries, they may not have put the emphasis on the digital marketing as much as maybe they should have. And so when COVID hit, suddenly they couldn't go to trade shows and they couldn't do all these different things like they normally did. So suddenly they're wanting to fix their website and do webinars and do more social media marketing or more Google ads. So people from my network started to reach out, and then I would get some referrals. That was really a humbling experience because I think I don't know how many cover letters and resumes I sent out for 6 months looking for a fully remote position with a company. I didn't want to start freelancing necessarily or run my own company necessarily. Like I was like, hey, look, the skills are here. I can work remotely, and there are companies that could benefit from that.
What was a big challenge during that time of building your business? What were some of the challenges you had to face head on and overcome?
No one knows who you are and no one cares. So you have to change that.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of energy and a lot of like capability, you want that to change quickly. And that doesn't necessarily change quickly by itself. So that's something you have to get over. And mentors can really help with that because they're like, hey, settle down. You are on a good path. You just need to keep going, right? Not expect everybody to just fall at your feet instantly and go, oh, will you do this for us? Oh, can we hire you for this?
Yeah, and I know that over the past couple of years that we've known each other, you've been able to mentor me in how I've been able to grow my own platforms and how I could move in a direction that was good and beneficial for me and my brand and my work. So, did you also have a mentor when you were working towards what you do now?
Yeah, definitely. I have several good mentors that I can call or have a coffee with, either remotely or in town. And yeah, every 2 or 3 months, it's, you know what, can I buy you another coffee? Because I'd like to go over some things, or I just want to give you an update on how things are doing. Back when work was slow, I was just like, I'm still not sure if this is like gonna work because I've been working on it for a couple years and it's still a bit slow. I tried a few things. I tried what you're doing is, you know what? So I make videos for a living. I edit videos for a living. I do marketing strategy. Okay, I could be potentially a content creator. I could vlog about life here in Thailand, right? So I started up a YouTube channel and I kept working on the business and I started up like a SEO website project. I was like, okay, if I can put my time on these three things and give it each a good, honest try. 6 months later, the business was just like, we were hiring and we had tons of work but I was still trying to do all three things. And my mentor sat down with me, a certain guy named Simon from town, and he's looking at me as, are you nuts? He's like, yes, that made sense 6 months ago when you didn't have the work, but now that you have the work, this is the open door is busting open here. You got to drop the other things. I'm like, but I like the other things. He's like, don't care.
And it's hard to leverage and figure out what are the things that I want to prioritize, right? What are the things that I want to do that I don't actually want any other people to touch?
I realize he's right. I have a responsibility to my team, to my clients, to my family, and to myself. If a door is opening and it is a direction I want to go, okay, let's put our energy there. We maybe can resurrect one of the other ones later on
Mm.
or something, or we never do. And that's okay because now something is working and let's give it a good, honest try. Let's not pull from it
Mm.
just to keep some other
Mm.
project that we really liked going necessarily.
So, what was your mission with your marketing agency? What is the core vision and mission of?
To pay the rent and it's just simply, no,
But I want you to talk a little more about your philosophy behind your work. Like, what does it mean to do calm marketing? Because I've never heard that before prior to getting to know you and meeting you. I didn't really understand what it meant to be part of calm marketing. What does that look like?
I think it grew out of a lot of frustrations I had working in a marketing departments and managing marketing strategies for a long time, and then also starting to do it for different companies and just seeing how much that companies or marketers were not feeling very calm, were not feeling relaxed. They're feeling a lot of pressure, a lot of the marketing's not working, all these different things. I was like, why is that? What are the things that contribute to that? And generally, it's that there isn't a really clear marketing strategy because a lot of people don't know how to put one together. And then when things go bad or go good, if you have a good, thoughtful, effective marketing strategy, you can keep coming back to that. It's not that every moment of marketing is calm. right? You're doing a trade show and not calm. You're trying to get ready. It's not calm, but you can always step back and go, no, this is a hectic day, or we're trying to get this video done or whatever. But we can always take a step back and go, this fits into our overall marketing strategy that we're doing for the long term. So in that way, you can go, okay, I know that I'm doing the right thing. And so that aspect of the confidence that you're not overextending yourself, that you're working within your constraints, and that good marketing takes time, so that you've built it in such a way that you're not biting off more than you can chew at the beginning. You're taking it in reasonable steps. So one of the best ways that we communicate that to clients is we say, we're going to create you a 15-month marketing plan. And then the immediate question is like, why 15 months? Why not a year or 3 months? Or
Yeah. Why 15 months?
it's a super arbitrary number that I picked just completely arbitrarily. I used to plan marketing in 12 months. Here's our 2024 marketing plan.
You need like a 3-month buffer maybe to kick things off.
You need time to kick it off. And then every time, sure enough, at the 9-month mark, everyone starts to think about the next year's marketing strategy, right? So what I'd like myself and what I'd like clients to think is break out of these kind of cycles, and more, if we actually have the budget and the resources, and then we're going to give it the time. Of course, we'll adapt, right? There's adaptation and there's flexibility in there, but we feel confident that if we do this for 15 months, the marketing will be effective. We'll start reaching our target audience, etc. So if we plan it in that way, it's not 3 months. We got to do a bunch of stuff and get results. A lot of the clients that I kind of work with, they're B2B or they're in traditional industries. That doesn't work very well. It often just wastes budget and then it goes nowhere. So we try to look at it from a 15-month perspective, because initially, a lot of times there's some leveling up. There's filling in the gaps that need to happen typically in the first 3 months. Okay, the website is really broken. Before we start an ongoing marketing rhythm and implementation, we got to fix that first, or we got to set this up. So that typically is, we'll do a phase 1 where we fix a few things. We'll do a strategy phase first, actually build the strategy, plan out the implementation. And then phase 2 is leveling up those holes or those gaps. So it helps the client to look at it with a long-term sustainable point of view.
Right. It's not just like, this is going to work in 2 weeks.
Right.
It's no, be patient with the process. Let's do some calm marketing and let's figure it out slowly but surely, because it's better to just implement something that is foundationally strong and aligns with what your business needs and your business goals, rather than trying to rush the process.
Yeah, and try to get them on board with the idea that that this takes time, that they see the value in letting it take time, that their target audience it will start to soak in more if they give it time. So a lot of times a business owner needs to mentally prepare themselves like, oh, no, I'm doing this intentionally over time.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to promote to a lot of the clients we work with in that calm marketing. Let's not overextend ourselves. Let's not overextend the budget, any knowledge constraints or people constraints that they have, because I want my marketing to be effective. I want it to be effective. I want it actually to do something. We're not a performance marketing agency, which says, hey, we'll bring you 10 leads a day for the next 3 months. That's just not who we are.
Yeah. And I think it's important that, since you guys are a marketing agency, I feel like you guys have a lot of clients coming in who expect quick results, right? And how do you deal with those clients that come to you and they're like, we need to see it now, we need to like face it head on, have big results?
We don't work with those kinds of clients really, because that's just not the kind of agent. We're not set up to do that. We had an inquiry through the website this morning, and it was like, do you guarantee certain sales results, etc.? I was like, no.
And that's really difficult, especially.
Well, and I was like, the types of clients we work with, a lot of times it's hard to track. It's hard to be sure. And also a lot of the clients we work with, there's 6 months of fixing things that were broken. They have an old website or an old e-commerce system that needs to be gone through, and everything we do is bespoke. It's not like off the shelf, here's our social media growth package, and we will grow your subscribers by 1,000 by next month. There are agencies that you can work with if that's what you need. I'm more interested in working with someone who understands the value of a bespoke, effective marketing for their particular business and industry who wants to do that, either wants a strategy for that so that they can implement it with their team, or wants us to work on that over time. Now, there are definitely KPIs that we can set. There are things, and typically we say, hey, here's the KPIs that will show that we're actually improving the SEO on this website or whatever.
So with so many years of experience,
Decades.
and decades, hundreds of years of experience at this point, what is it like to manage clients, whether they're local or whether they're remote, working internationally? Do you see a difference in kind of the workflow and maybe level of involvement that you have with different clients depending on their physical location?
It's interesting because we have clients that we've worked with on the other side of the world now for over 5 years, every month,
Okay.
supporting them.
And it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years.
So that probably means that it's working so far.
Yeah, like that particular client they don't have a marketing department. They focus on manufacturing and sales, and then they want us to, anything marketing related, they want to send our way. They're happy with it. And a lot can be done remotely. There are certain things that can't. So we just try to look at the project and see if it makes sense. There might be aspects that make it so it doesn't make sense, but we also adjust a few things. We have some clients locally, right, here in Thailand, but the majority of our clients are in the US or Europe. And I think in today's, even our local clients, we hardly ever meet up with or have online meetings with. I try to have as many in-person meetings as I can with them, but
So when it's not face to face like this, do you feel like there's a lack of trust? Or how do you build that trust and reliability between you and your client so that they feel comfortable to know and acknowledge that, okay, I can trust Jake in helping me manage my socials or my marketing for my brand, knowing that I'm not going to see him in person anytime soon?
so that is a big concern. I don't see them actually working on my project, or I would take 4:00, 3:00 a.m. meetings with new clients in the States, just the first meeting. And they'd be like, oh, where are you located? What time zone in the US? I'm actually in Thailand. And it's 3 a.m. They'd be like, why'd you take this call at 3 a.m.? And I said, because I don't mind. I would really like your business. And I want you to know that I'm going to take it really seriously. I don't want to do every call at 3 a.m., if you don't mind, because I wanted to show them something that was hungry for the work. Because otherwise, way off the
Yeah,
time.
you got to show that you're willing to put in the work, you're dedicated, and you're skilled at your role, and you're willing to lay it out on the table for them to show them that you are here to show up for them.
I think the issue that a lot of people have with marketing agencies is they feel like they're promised the moon. The agency overpromises, and then maybe they don't underdeliver, but from the client's perspective, it feels like they underdeliver. So that's been something that we've really worked hard on, is let's make sure that the client feels like they're getting value, that we're proactive, that they're not having to remind us. Now, obviously, we don't do that perfectly all the time, but I think generally a lot of our clients have stuck with us because they feel like we really work hard and we are on it for them, and we take their brand and their projects like we really care. So when a client feels that, it sounds bad, but a client that feels like you're really on it and you're really working hard is much happier to keep paying invoices, regardless of the output, actually. Like in some ways, they just,
Because they see that you care.
they're getting that sense. And busy business owners, they don't have time to look at every post and look at every little detail and micromanage you. So if you're giving them all these signals that they're not having to chase you for the stuff that you promised to do, then they're like, okay, perfect. Now, when we make a silly mistake, it's me and we have some outside contractors and we have our Thai team. And sometimes we make a silly mistake in English or something like that, right? And I try to tell my team, hey, try to run as much as we can through me, because when we do make a mistake, especially a silly English mistake or something like that, it's not in a final version. It might be in a draft of a video. It sends a signal to the client's mind that somehow we did not catch this super silly little mistake. The rest of the editing could be amazing. That's something that we really have to watch out for as far as trust signals, because I remember we sent 2 podcast episodes with silly mistakes in them, and it should have been caught. There should have been 3 layers of checking before it went to the client just to make sure.
Yeah, and
somehow it didn't go And so I was like, guys, the client is always going to be scared that we made a silly mistake again. We've destroyed trust for a few months. They're always going to have that in their head. That right there, especially in a remote situation, will lose you a lot of points.
And especially when you work remote, when you work online, it is very easy to miss those mistakes when you don't have someone keeping you accountable for not making those mistakes. Because I understand that full well. When I'm sitting in my room alone, trying to work from my laptop 9 to 5, I'm like, it gets blurry. It gets blurry when you're alone and you're like, okay. And then you look back and you're like, oh, that was a silly mistake.
I missed something really silly the other day, and it was, just too early in the morning.
All of that is to say, do you have any advice for people trying to work online or freelance and just being present with clients regardless of physical location? How can you show up for yourself and for the person you're working with and making sure you're establishing that kind of mutual trust?
I think one of the key things is if the client really feels like you hear them and that you read between the lines and they really felt like you understood their situation and maybe they didn't even verbalize something and you're able to fill in between the lines. I can see that you're worried about this. If they really feel like you get their situation, that sends a lot of trust signals through that you're the right solution, because there are a billion marketers out there. There's a billion people that can do social media. And I think a lot of people that maybe have challenges with getting clients and stuff is the client's just not feeling a good vibe.
Yeah.
And that might be partially people skills. Just really try to listen to the client. Don't overpromise. And then try to over deliver, not out of scope and kill yourself, but try to show the client that you're ahead of schedule, that the quality is higher than they expected in some ways, that you found new ways to be efficient with maybe an AI tool. Show them that you're not just sitting there and just like sending the invoice. So that's my advice to other freelancers.
And do you feel like a big part of it is learning to listen and to be mindful about what your client needs, looking at the details that they might overlook and paying deeper attention to the details?
Yeah, and that might be hard for some people because of personality or whatever, and that's where I feel like my particular role in the team is I know enough about business. I've been around different kinds of people and managers and business owners. And so the team is just looking at, okay, how do we do these social media posts, or what color are we using or whatever? Whereas I'm looking at it like, guys, this is really important to the client that we do it in this way. I can often find those kind of more softer things that might not be apparent to the video editor or something like that, right? So I try to bridge that gap and be that spokesperson for the client, and then hopefully then the team is able to do work and the client's, oh wow, that was exactly what I was hoping to, or that was better than I expected.
What are some big key lessons that you've been able to learn for yourself as an owner of a marketing agency? What are some of the rules that you follow in order to keep things in order and to make sure that you aren't bending over backwards to make everything work, but you're continuing to follow through with your idea of calm marketing and making sure that things are implemented and they're stable and it's like solid?
That's a super uncomfortable question for you to ask.
I'm here to ask uncomfortable questions.
Right. Partially because it feels like you're on a balance beam, but you're as a business owner, and I'm guessing other business owners will know what I'm feeling. It's like you have 25 balance beams that you're having to not do too much this way, not to like how your leadership with your own team, how much value you give to clients, whereas how much you're letting them walk all over you, how much strategy you do versus how much you work on the business, right? In the business and support your team. There's just all these, like, you're trying to at all times somehow stay at the right level of each. And so I think trying to learn to, not all people should be business owners. I think that's one of the things I've learned. Some people, and I might be in one of those categories, that is just better in a certain kind of a work or thrive better without trying to manage all of that at once. And that's not a bad thing. I just think it's something that if you're looking into freelancing or scaling up a team and things, it's good to be honest with yourself. Am Am I okay with trying to go on this journey where I'm going to have to be juggling all these different things?
Yeah.
And as soon as you are out of whack on one of them, people are going to call you out for it. Your family, your employees, your clients, the public. So I think being okay with trying to navigate that is a big part, a lesson I've learned about having my own company,
Mm.
taxes, employees, clients, marketing. A little bit more to your question, though, I think I spent a lot of time last year working with a team to build up approaches to projects and what a client should expect from us, right? So the client should expect that we'll be proactive in scheduling our check-ins and that they're actually proactive meetings and we're not prepared. And we have to build that into our schedule. And we're still not perfect with it because every day is a new day.
Yeah.
Things come up, but it was like we have to build in some principles by which we do our work that we feel like allow us to do work well.
Yeah.
That could be a whole hour-long conversation, though.
So I want to talk more now about your role in being a mentor to me and maybe to other young entrepreneurs or people trying to start up their business and giving words of wisdom from your own experiences. I kind of want to dive a little deeper into that now. And I want to ask you why you believe in mentorship because you said earlier on that you've had a lot of people who have helped you on your journey to where you are now.
I think when you're in all of it, it's super, super overwhelming.
And you don't see everything like another person would from an outside
100%.
perspective.
Another person on the outside, they don't care. I have a coffee with you and I'll give you my opinion and I do care. At the same time, it's not my brand. It's not my business. I'd say, hey, Minnie, here's a couple thoughts on that. Here's a couple things I might consider. But then when I go home, I'm not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
You get to
Yeah.
think about
I'm
it.
the one thinking about it, analyzing, reflecting on what I've learned from you.
So mentorship can take many forms. A YouTuber can be a mentor, right? There's great people on YouTube or podcasts, but there is something really good about someone who's already been through what you're going through now. So I have several people who I have coffees with and they've been through and they've seen other people go through what I'm going through as
Yeah.
trying to build a business or different things.
Yeah. And I think when you get to see how other people operate and what their thought process is, it's like you get to brainstorm with another person and think about, oh, this is really cool what they've done. I wonder if I could also learn to do this. But you want to be around people who have the same mindset similarly to you, people who see your values and what you want for your brand. And you, in return, you're learning from other people as well along the way.
Yeah, you want them to understand what you're trying to do. You don't want them to be too validating.
You want them to give you tough words.
Tough words while still validating, right?
Yeah.
That's a good mentor
To
is,
hear the truth.
yeah, you're on the good direction. And my mentors will say, hey, the direction is good. And here's where you need to work on right now. And in 6 months, it might be something different, but this is where you can put your time and effort. Work on this, fix this, or that kind of validation with also constructive criticism or encouragement on something you need to consider is really valuable with mentorship.
Because I
What
feel
did you get out of some of our chats?
I feel like feedback is very important. And sometimes we feel uncomfortable with hearing feedback or criticism from people who aren't us, right? Because you would think, oh, I've done my best, I've performed well, but always have something that you could improve on. So it's always nice to hear it from another person, even if it's not like a great thing on what you can improve on because they see things from an outside perspective, which I feel like you have been able to give to me is, okay, you've been doing this well. What I would suggest is do more of this, do more of that. And you can say that. And it's not like it's been like, oh, that hurts. I'm going to cry. It's been like, okay, that's good to know. It's good to know what I need to work on, what I can become better at, what I can improve. Because, yeah, it's not perfect. I haven't been doing this for a long time. So what I've been doing isn't perfect. But it's nice to hear it from you. You're much wiser, a little older than me. So it has been good to hear from someone like
And even
outside.
our discussions isn't really about like your content or your editing style or anything like that.
Mm,
We don't need to talk about that.
mm.
It's more of time management, like where to put the focus,
Your mindset.
this opportunity versus that opportunity, and should you delegate more, outsource for some help. So it's more of that big picture, like, hey, you're headed in the right direction. I'm not going to give you
Yeah,
feedback
it's like the
on,
technical nitty-gritty things that I haven't been able to sit with on my own. But it's, hey Jake, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? How can I balance my work life balance a little more
yeah.
so that I'm not burnt out or feeling exhausted?
I had a short phone call with one of the mentors yesterday. I was just like, by the way, we were talking about something like actually a meeting or something. But I was like, are you up for a coffee? There's some things I need to run by you. And he's like, oh, I think we're meeting Friday.
Okay,
But
cool.
it was just like, I need to run some stuff by you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think mentors are different from friends as well. It's like you talk about your friends and you talk with your friends about particular topics.
Yeah.
But with a mentor, it's we're sitting down, there's stuff I gotta deal with that I need your help helping me air out and brainstorm. And I think it's always a good move to have a mentor.
Yep, 100%. Especially when you're starting out, or there's a lot of people here in Southeast Asia who have a lot of potential, and there's a lot of ceilings to what they can achieve in life historically, traditionally,
Mm.
normally. So getting a good mentor can help you navigate that. I think that's on a lot of people's minds, is they just sense like there is a cap to what I can achieve in life. A mentor can help you go above that.
So how do you know who's the right mentor for you? How do you find someone you feel like you can trust in like their words of wisdom and their feedback to you?
There are certain people who actually care about other people.
I
So,
would hope so.
right. So find someone who cares. Find someone who's done it before. I think those would be two of the kind of
No.
core things. They need to care. You can't be like begging them for advice. They want to actually
Yeah. It's
enjoy.
like they're already invested in your growth
Yeah.
in this
And when
particular area.
I know that I can call my mentors and they will be happy to meet with me because they want to see young people succeed. They want to know that the struggles that they had is going to benefit someone else.
From the perspective of someone who owns a marketing agency, what is something that they should try to establish in the very beginning before they really begin the process of diving into creating their brand?
I think everybody just creates social media channels and then gets busy. Okay, now I created my social media channels and now I have to put content there. And oh, now 6 months later, I have 79 followers and this seems like a waste of time. Learn how to put together a simple marketing strategy and implementation plan, and all the tactics and things you actually do as part of your marketing comes from that marketing strategy. It will give you, it takes your constraints and your industry and your capabilities, all it takes that all into account, and then you're able to pick your tactics, not just because, oh, that's what I should do is make a Facebook page. You can then, your tactics are defined by the strategy itself. So then when you're doing your events or you're putting some videos on social, it's because you already looked at it from the big picture. Now, you might need help putting that together. What we do a lot is we'll just do a marketing strategy for someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. They're like, I have a feeling our marketing's not working. I'm not happy with it. I don't know why. Can you tell me why? And so we'll just put together our recommendations for you. This is what we would do. Blank check, or not blank check, but just this is what we would do. No strings attached. Here you go. Then they look at that and typically they're like, that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, because we asked you what your budget was. We asked you how much time you have, what kind of resources you have in the team, what's already working, what hasn't been working, and we've built it around that.
Yeah.
So that's typically what I would say is to start with. Actually build a plan and then focus on being consistent with that plan.
And it's a two-way effort, right? For the creator or the person who owns the brand or the business to also put in the effort, because obviously they come in thinking, okay, Jake's going to do it all for me. It might be a 50-50, a 70-30. I'm not sure. How can you develop good habits for yourself as a creator or as someone who's starting a small business to really learn how to be consistent and reliable in this area? Because it's not, you want to be able to keep it going, even if you're not part of the picture. So the moment you maybe stop and take a step back,
Yeah.
you want to be able to continue the business, even if it means, okay, my marketing team's going to take a step back. How can we develop professional habits to make sure that continues?
You're right about when people come to us, they often think that they're not going to have to be involved very much. That we're the professionals, that we're so professional and we'll be
Yeah,
able
like
to do
they
it all.
got it,
Right. Yeah.
no problem.
And sometimes they can be a little surprised where we're pushing back and going, no. A lot of people don't have the budgets to hire like someone to be fully dedicated to just their brand and just their marketing and all this stuff that has their same mindset and everything. So you're dealing with that situation. So as a business owner, you're going to need to give context. You're going to need to assist. There are going to be homework that we give you so that we can do our job better. We have tried to figure out ways to minimize that as much as possible. I don't want a client in really long meetings all the time. No one wants that. So we've developed a few different ways that we feel like it really is as least intensive on their time as possible while supplying us with the maximum amount of things to work with. That's what we try to do with clients as well. We have a couple techniques that we use to do that.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm a Thai creator, but I'm trying to make the most out of it by creating content for a global audience. And sometimes that can be very difficult, especially not knowing where to begin. So I want to ask you a couple questions about what kinds of recommendations you would give to people who are just starting out. How can we, as Thai creators, right, as like a Thai creator myself, how can I branch out to work with more global clients and to work more internationally with other brands that aren't Thai? How can I maximize my exposure?
It's relationships and who you know in many ways, right? So if your bubble doesn't take you overlap with those people, why would they know to hire you? Why would they know that you exist? So networking in different circles as much as you can within reason, that can really help because there are a lot of people who are looking, let's say you're a UI UX designer or something. There's tons of people in Singapore or Europe who are looking for a good, talented UI UX freelancer. They go on Fiverr, they go online, and there's a billion results.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're at a networking event, you overlap, you chat, boom, you have a client. Oh, let's try out working together. So networking, putting yourself out online. So we hired a video editor because this person was they were putting video editing advice. They're like, I'm a video editor and here's some advice on how you can do your projects better.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hired them.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways you can do that. And then working on your own, if you want to work with international clients, I've gotten so many CVs and portfolio sites that were terrible from people saying I'm a marketing expert and they don't know how
You want to
to.
show up for yourself. You need to show up for yourself so you can showcase the skills that you're actually broadcasting to the world that you know how to do.
And be really honest with what your real specific values that you can bring are, right?
Mhm.
So I've looked at a lot of CVs over the years in Europe and then here. And someone who I feel like a picture helps because I can see the personality of the person that they're trying to say, hey, this is the personality I bring to the table. Because when you're looking for through 70 resumes and everybody is saying the same thing about their skill set and what they can do.
Yeah, so what can make someone stand out in a CV? You have 100 CVs. How do you pick the person you think is going to be right for your team? Because I know you recently did that.
Yeah. If you don't know how to use ChatGPT just to correct your grammar, I have no interest in hiring you because it just shows a lack of, there's a free tool out there that can literally make your grammar perfect. And then, and you don't know how to, you can't use that. So that shows I don't need to consider this person because I don't feel like they're going to bring a whole lot to the team.
Especially when you're in marketing, I feel like you need to be someone who is going to know how to utilize all of these tools that are out there and really maximize the resources.
Yeah, and that can still be hard to do. So get a second opinion from a friend or something like that. I remember when I was putting together my CVs or anytime I'm trying to write about myself, it's hard, but at least my grammar was correct. And I used a nice little Canva template for my portfolio or whatever. Things looked presentable. And some people, that's why I say be honest with who you are. If you're not a designer and you're really good at managing events,
Then be honest with that.
be super honest with, I really want to manage your events. I'm really bad at design, but I can work with the design team to make sure that the
100%.
banners look great.
And I think a lot of times people overlook how much honesty can actually give back to you. I was very honest with my boss in the very beginning. I'm like, hey, I'm not comfortable with writing professional Thai paragraphs up. Like that's a very difficult thing for me because Thai's so complex, and especially in the Muay Thai world, you use very specific vocabulary to talk about
And then there's
different
different
events.
levels of formality in the Thai depending on who it's addressed to. And
And then it's my first corporate job. Right away, I'm like me coming straight out of an international school, international program where I'm using purely English to write up my work. I quickly realized this was a skill I was missing, but I was honest about it with my boss, and she said, okay, but I know you have other strengths, so we're going to utilize those strengths and we're going to max those out instead. So I think people overlook how good honesty could be sometimes because people think, oh, you might be a little bit scared.
sure, bosses want someone who's going to be proactive and take action and will not give them surprises. I don't want to be surprised and find out something I assumed that you could do, you can't. That's going to happen. So yeah, honesty, being clear with what your real skills are. Because again, there are a lot of people looking for jobs, and there's a lot of really good people out there who are looking for jobs that international companies would love to hire. But it's a real big risk to hire someone from overseas, English as a second language. And if you don't figure out how to put your best foot forward, you've probably missed out on that opportunity. And I want people to get those opportunities. I want people to bust those ceilings that they find themselves trapped in. And I think there's a ton of potential in Southeast Asia.
Absolutely.
I think working on your English here and then just being a little bit more aware of how you're presenting yourself and networking. And suddenly, man, yeah, you could land a really good role with a company because at the end of the day, they're hiring you to grow into that role, not necessarily that you're the perfect person from day one.
Give me 3 words that people should live by or follow to have the confidence in what it takes to push them out of that comfort zone a little bit. What are some of the things that they should work on or focus on? It could be anything. Any 3 words that comes to the top of your head about how to be inspired to start and to begin, just to start somewhere.
All right. Thanks for making this an easy one. Just do it. Just do it is actually a pretty good one because you can always pivot later as you've learned, right? When you just said, I'm going to do it. Now, you may have gone down that road for 6 months and gone, you know what? This is not working. People are not interested in this kind of content. I followed a few different open doors and they didn't end up being anything, but one of them did.
And I feel like that's okay. I feel like people really beat themselves up about things that don't work out. But I think it's nice just to see it as you have this opportunity and it didn't work out, but something is going to work out. And it doesn't necessarily have to be this one.
Don't care too much about it. Give it a good shot. Work on it because you're passionate about it. But don't take it personally when people don't care or things aren't working, or if you just literally decide with a mentor that this is not a path that you should keep going on and should pivot.
Yeah, and you can't let it disrupt your spirit of creating.
Yeah, and then you have value because the world's a big place. Everyone's clamoring for attention. No one owes you their attention. You have to earn it. As you've learned. I've learned that with my business. No one owes me hiring me to do their marketing. I have to earn that with a reputation or doing good work or whatever it might be. Just do it. Get good mentors. Sorry, there's more than 3 words, but
get good mentors. There you go.
Get good mentors. Just do it. And surround yourself with other people. Network. The reason why we're here today is because I reached out to Charlotte and I was like, I think this young lady is someone that there's some overlaps here. We took her out to coffee a few months ago, found out she was building this studio. And it's more of that just long term, I want to be there for her. She has a lot to offer in general to the community.
And I think it's good to find like-minded people who understand what it's like to hustle and to be dedicated to your craft and your business and your art and not brush it as it's just content. It's just social media. It's just you're working on something small. It is a big deal. And you want people who and you want to be around people who like uplift you and say it is a big deal, but let's get into it. Let's start.
And you want to try to find serious people as well.
Yeah.
So in the digital nomad space, there's very serious people. There's people who want to become serious, right? They're trying it out. And there's just a lot of weird people. Not that there's wrong with anyone who's weird. Just different people are really the right people to have at different stages of your business and your life. So you become who your friends are, that saying.
Absolutely.
Mix it up. Have some old people who have done business before. Have some young people who just have a lot of energy and just don't care.
Sounds like you and me.
And then have some people who are like, you know what? Like somewhere in the middle, right? They have enough experience, but they still have the energy and they're still pushing. Have a range of people that you associate with. Anyway, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in and having this chat today.
Yeah. Great takeaways from today's conversation.